Caribbean Sea. Venezuelan passenger ferry Margarita Princess operating scheduled route. Puerto La Cruz to Trinidad. International passenger service. Legitimate operation, or so appeared. Displacement, 8,500 tons. Length, 456 feet. Passenger capacity, 850. Crew, 120. Regular Caribbean ferry. AIS transponder broadcasting. Radar reflector visible. Maritime identification complete. Professional appearance. Until United States Navy discovered truth. Hidden cargo compartments. Concealed weapons. Chinese-supplied HQ-9B surface-to-air missiles. 4 launchers. 16 missiles total. Plus YJ-18 anti-ship cruise missiles. 8 missiles. Launch containers disguised as cargo containers. Everything hidden. Passengers aboard. 340 civilians, including women, children, families, human shields. Venezuelan government using civilian ferry for weapons smuggling. Strategic missile deployment. Creating air defense threat. Establishing anti-ship capability, while endangering civilians deliberately. International law violation. War crime. Humanitarian crisis. Venezuelan military thought civilian vessel prevented interdiction. Thought passengers guaranteed safe passage. Thought weapons remained hidden. They were catastrophically wrong. U.S. Navy uncovered trap at sea. Intelligence detected operation. Boarding team discovered weapons. Civilians evacuated. Missiles seized. What happened next exposed Venezuelan war crime and saved hundreds of lives. MV Margarita Princess, Ferry Line, Venezuelan passenger ferry. Built 2019, modern vessel. Roll-on, roll-off capability. Vehicle deck, passenger decks, restaurant, lounges, standard ferry amenities. Master Captain Eduardo Sanchez commanded. 23 years maritime experience, but also Venezuelan Navy Reserve officer. This voyage, not commercial operation, military mission, weapons smuggling, strategic deployment. He received orders from Venezuelan naval operations. Transport missile systems covertly, use passenger cover, establish air defense in international waters, create strategic threat. Orders, war crime, using civilians as shields, violating international law, endangering passengers deliberately. Below passenger decks, hidden cargo. Vehicle deck modified, secret compartments welded. 4 HQ-9B surface-to-air missile launchers. Chinese export version. Range, 200 kilometers. Altitude, 30,000 meters. Advanced radar guidance. Each launcher, 4 missiles. Total, 16 SAMs. Plus 8 YJ-18 anti-ship missiles. Chinese design. Range, 540 kilometers. Speed, Mach 3 terminal phase. Sea skimming capability. Devastating anti-ship weapon. All hidden, disguised, concealed beneath legitimate cargo containers. Passengers above, unaware. Traveling families, vacation tourists, business travelers, used as human shields. War crime. USS Paul Ignatius, DDG-117, Arleigh Burke-class Flight 2EA destroyer. Displacement, 9,200 tons. Length, 509 feet. Crew, 323. Armed with 96 Mk-41 VLS cells, SM-2 missiles, Tomahawk cruise missiles, 5-inch gun. Complete capability. Conducting counter-smuggling patrol. 4th Fleet Operations. Caribbean Security Mission. Commander Jennifer Martinez commanded. 14 years destroyer experience. Combat veteran. She received intelligence alert. Venezuelan ferry Margarita Princess. Intelligence indicates weapons smuggling. Chinese missile systems aboard. Passengers present. Requires boarding and inspection. Coordinate Coast Guard LEDET. Which boarding approach best balances security and civilian safety? A. Aggressive immediate boarding. B. Coordinated professional approach. C. Surveillance without boarding. At 2:47 p.m. local time, USS Paul Ignatius positioned alongside ferry route. 12 nautical miles ahead of Margarita Princess. Coast Guard Law Enforcement Detachment Team embarked. LEDET, 8 Coast Guardsmen, boarding authority, legal jurisdiction, professional training, plus Navy SEAL Team, 8 operators, security element, hidden below deck, emergency response capability, if boarding compromised, if weapons revealed, if civilians endangered, plus MH-60R Seahawk helicopter, Armed, overhead, additional security, complete preparation. Stay with me. What happened in next 3 hours became maritime law enforcement and humanitarian rescue operation, demonstrating American capability to protect civilians while exposing war crimes. At 3:03 p.m., USS Paul Ignatius transmitted, Venezuelan ferry Margarita Princess. This is United States Navy destroyer Paul Ignatius. Request permission conduct routine maritime safety inspection. International waters, standard procedures. Prepare to receive boarding team. Professional, non-threatening, legal authority. Captain Sanchez faced decision. Refuse and create suspicion. Accept and risk weapon discovery. He chose deception. Transmitted, Paul Ignatius, Margarita Princess. We are passenger ferry. Regular scheduled service. Inspection acceptable. Will reduce speed. This is where Navy Wire brings you inside complex boarding operations, where weapons smuggling meets professional inspection, where civilian presence complicates response, where humanitarian concerns demand careful execution, superior training, superior preparation, superior outcomes. At 3:17 p.m., Margarita Princess reduced to 6 knots. USS Paul Ignatius alongside. 200-yard separation. Sea state. Calm. Perfect boarding conditions. RHIB launched. Rigid hull inflatable boat. LEDET team aboard. 8 Coast Guardsmen. Weapons visible but not threatening. Professional appearance. Approaching ferry. Passengers watching. Curious. Unaware. Children waving. Families observing. LEDET leader. Lieutenant Commander Marcus Rodriguez maintained calm demeanor. Standard inspection. Professional execution. But sensing something wrong. LEDET team boarded ferry. Accommodation ladder. Professional courtesy. Captain Sanchez greeted them. Nervous. Excessive cooperation. Suspicious behavior. Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez transmitted encrypted, Paul Ignatius, LEDET. Master behavior suspicious. Recommend thorough inspection. Request SEAL backup standby. Commander Martinez acknowledged. LEDET. SEALs ready. Helicopter overhead. Proceed carefully. Civilians present. Avoid panic. At 3:34 p.m., LEDET inspection commenced. Documentation review. Manifest examination. Passenger lists. Cargo records. Everything appeared legitimate. 340 passengers registered. Cargo. General merchandise. Container numbers documented. But Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez experienced. Trained observer. Noticed discrepancies. Container weights. Inconsistent. Cargo distribution. Unusual. Vehicle deck access. Restricted unnecessarily. He requested, Captain, require vehicle deck inspection. Standard procedure. Captain Sanchez hesitated. Vehicle deck contains cargo containers. Regular freight. Nothing unusual. Hesitation. Confirming suspicion. How long does typical ferry boarding inspection require? A. 30 minutes cursory. B. 2 hours standard. C. 4+ hours thorough with cargo. Answer at the end. LEDET team descended to vehicle deck, escorted by nervous crew, steel deck, container stacks, lashing equipment. Everything appeared normal, but Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez observed carefully. Container configurations, unusual. Spacing, irregular. Welding marks, fresh. Recent modifications obvious. He transmitted, Paul Ignatius. Vehicle deck shows recent modifications. Suspect concealment. Request authorization open containers. Commander Martinez consulted legal authority. International waters. Reasonable suspicion. Boarding legal. LEDET authorized. Open suspect containers. SEALs deploying now. If you believe Venezuelan ferry smuggling weapons endangered civilians criminally, type Navy Wire in the comments. At 3:47 p.m., LEDET team approached suspicious containers. Locking mechanisms, military grade, not commercial standard, concealment obvious. Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez ordered, cut locks, open containers. Bolt cutters applied, locks severed, container doors opened. First container, empty decoy. Second container, regular cargo. Third container, missile launcher, HQ-9B. Chinese surface-to-air missile system, complete, ready, hidden, on passenger ferry, among civilians. War crime exposed. Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez transmitted emergency. Paul Ignatius, LEDET, confirmed weapons, Chinese SAM system, concealed aboard passenger ferry, civilians endangered, require immediate backup. Commander Martinez ordered, all hands, general quarters, SEAL team deploy immediately, secure ferry, protect civilians, detain crew. This is hostile vessel. At 3:49 p.m., 8 Navy SEALs deployed via helicopter fast rope. MH-60R hovering above ferry. SEALs descending rapidly. Tactical gear. Weapons ready. Professional execution. Passengers shocked, frightened, children crying, families panicking. SEAL team leader Lieutenant James Wilson transmitted, all passengers, United States Navy. Remain calm. Stay in place. You are safe. This is security operation. Professional, calm, authoritative. Passengers complying. Confusion, but cooperation. SEALs secured bridge. Captain Sanchez detained. Crew rounded up. Ferry operations. American control. LEDET continued inspection. 4th container. More SAM launchers. 5th container. YJ-18 anti-ship missiles. 6th container. Additional missiles. 7th container. Launch control equipment. Everything documented. Photographed. Preserved as evidence. Civilian passengers, surrounded by strategic weapons. Used as human shields. Venezuelan war crime. Completely exposed. What would you have done if commanding boarding team discovering weapons with civilians present? Comment your tactical decision below. At 4:12 p.m., Commander Martinez faced complex situation. Weapons discovered. Civilians endangered. Ferry, evidence of war crime. But 340 passengers, including children, requiring protection, evacuation. She coordinated massive humanitarian operation. Additional Coast Guard vessels dispatched. USCGC James, USCGC Hamilton, plus Colombian Navy support. Regional cooperation. Passenger evacuation commenced. At 4:47 p.m., civilian evacuation began. Systematic, professional, organized. Families first, children prioritized. Medical needs addressed. Elderly assisted. Coast Guard vessels alongside. Passengers transferring. Calm, professional. American crews, compassionate, efficient, effective. Venezuelan crew, detained separately. Captain Sanchez, arrested. Charges, weapons smuggling. Using civilians as human shields. War crimes, international law violations. Evidence, overwhelming. Documented completely. By 7:23 p.m., all 340 passengers evacuated safely. Transferred to Coast Guard vessels. Transported to Trinidad. International cooperation. Safe harbor. Humanitarian success. 0 civilian casualties. Complete protection. Meanwhile, ferry. Evidence collection continuing. Weapons documented. 16 HQ-9B missiles. 8 YJ-18 anti-ship missiles. Launch control systems. Chinese serial numbers recorded. Venezuelan military involvement. Proven. Strategic smuggling operation. Exposed completely. Tactical assessment revealed Venezuelan strategic catastrophe and war crime. Smuggle Chinese missiles using passenger ferry. Hide weapons among civilians. Create human shields. Establish strategic capability. Result: intelligence detected operation. Navy boarding discovered weapons. Civilians evacuated safely. Weapons seized. Crew arrested. War crime exposed internationally. Strategic operation. Comprehensive disaster. Humanitarian crime. Documented completely. Quantity or quality in complex boarding operations? Comment Q for quantity or L for quality. USS Paul Ignatius demonstrated destroyer versatility, not just combat platform. Boarding support vessel, command coordination center, legal authority enforcement, civilian protection, everything. These destroyers, multi-mission capable, counter-smuggling, humanitarian operations, law enforcement, all simultaneous. Against Venezuelan weapons smuggling, completely effective. Detected, boarded, secured, protected civilians, seized weapons. Coast Guard LEDET proved essential boarding capability, professional training, legal authority, inspection expertise, weapons detection. Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez, experienced observer, noticed discrepancies, investigated thoroughly, discovered missiles, all while maintaining civilian safety. Professional excellence. This is Coast Guard maritime law enforcement. Sophisticated, capable, effective. Navy SEAL team provided critical security element, fast rope deployment, bridge seizure, crew detention, civilian protection, all simultaneous, professional execution. Lieutenant James Wilson, calm leadership, passengers reassured, panic prevented, security maintained. These operators, elite capability, combat trained, humanitarian skilled, complete professionals. MH-60R Seahawk helicopter enabled rapid response, SEAL insertion platform, overhead security, communications relay, surveillance, multi-mission aircraft, essential boarding operations support. Against weapons smuggling, perfect capability, fast deployment, flexible response, complete effectiveness. Which technology dominates 2030 maritime security? Autonomous inspection, AI detection, or enhanced human teams? Comment your prediction. Venezuelan government response was embarrassing denial, then admission. Initially, claimed ferry legitimate, inspection illegal, weapons fabricated, but evidence overwhelming. Photographs released, Chinese missiles documented, serial numbers traced, international observers confirmed. Eventually admission, rogue operation, captain unauthorized, government not involved, lies transparent, international community unconvinced, war crime allegations proceeding. American diplomatic response was humanitarian emphasis with legal prosecution. Civilian evacuation prioritized. All 340 passengers protected. 0 casualties. Humanitarian success. Then legal action. War crimes referral. International Criminal Court. United Nations briefed. Geneva Convention violations documented. Using civilians as shields proven. Chinese involvement exposed. Venezuelan government isolated. Internationally condemned. Regional allies supported American action completely. Colombia provided port facilities. Trinidad granted safe harbor. Coast Guard coordination seamless. When Venezuela smuggles weapons endangering civilians, region responds with unified support. Humanitarian cooperation, legal coordination, American leadership, validated through civilian protection and war crime exposure. Congressional response was bipartisan condemnation and increased funding. Venezuela used civilians as shields, smuggled Chinese missiles, created strategic threat. War crime documented. Resolution passed. Condemn Venezuela. Sanction government. Increase Caribbean patrols. Expand boarding capability. Venezuelan action. Unified American politics. Additional resources. Approved. LEDET expansion. Funded. SEAL support. Increased. The 120 Venezuelan ferry crew faced severe consequences. Captain Sanchez, war crimes charges. Officers, smuggling violations. Crew, complicity, all detained. Facing U.S. federal prosecution, plus international charges. Using civilians as shields. Crime against humanity. Evidence, overwhelming. Documented completely. Careers, ended. Lives, destroyed. Families, shamed. Single smuggling operation. Comprehensive personal disaster. International maritime law community analyzed operation extensively. Using passenger vessels for weapons, war crime, civilians as shields, humanity violation, Chinese missile export, arms control breach, American boarding, legal and proportional, civilian protection, exemplary. This became primary case study. Maritime law curriculum, humanitarian operations training, boarding procedures doctrine, war crimes prosecution. Venezuelan operation educated global maritime community through spectacular failure and humanitarian success. Ferry Line passenger ferry company faced crisis. Vessel used for weapon smuggling. Passengers endangered deliberately. Company reputation destroyed. Insurance canceled. Routes suspended. Investigation comprehensive. Management questioned. Future operations uncertain. Single Venezuelan military operation devastated commercial company completely. Chinese missile export program faced scrutiny. HQ-9B and YJ-18 supplied to Venezuela. Used for weapons smuggling. Endangered civilians. War crime equipment. Arms control violations documented. Export licenses questioned. International criticism severe. Future sales complicated. Venezuelan operation damaged Chinese arms exports reputation globally. Was this operation weapons interdiction, humanitarian rescue, or war crime exposure? Leave your analysis in the comments. And while you're there, tell us, what maritime operations should Navy Wire cover next? Your engagement shapes our content. Your support makes this possible. To authoritarian regimes, understand that smuggling weapons using civilian vessels guarantees discovery and prosecution. Venezuelan ferry learned. 340 passengers aboard. Families, children, used as shields. Chinese missiles hidden. Strategic deployment attempted. American intelligence detected. Navy boarded. Weapons discovered. Civilians evacuated. Crew arrested. War crimes exposed. This is guaranteed outcome. Maritime intelligence. Comprehensive. Boarding capability. Professional. Civilian protection. Absolute. War crimes. Prosecuted. Don't smuggle weapons. Don't use civilian shields. Don't test American resolve. To American maritime crews, understand that Commander Martinez, Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez, Lieutenant Wilson, and combined team showed exceptional professionalism, detected smuggling, boarded safely, discovered weapons, evacuated civilians, seized evidence, 0 casualties. This is maritime excellence. This is humanitarian priority. When boarding vessels, inspect thoroughly. When discovering weapons, secure immediately. When civilians present, protect absolutely. October 7th proved boarding capability. Civilian protection. Professional execution. Caribbean Sea remains American security area. Weapons smuggling answered with boarding operations. Civilian vessels inspected thoroughly. When Venezuela endangers passengers for military purposes, American response comprehensive. Boarding, inspection, weapons seizure, civilian protection, war crime prosecution, combined, complete security, humanitarian priority, legal enforcement. Allied maritime cooperation increased significantly. Colombia enhanced intelligence sharing. Trinidad committed port support. Coast Guard coordination expanded. When Venezuelan ferry smuggles weapons endangering civilians, region responds with increased American cooperation. Boarding operations supported. Humanitarian response coordinated. Strategic partnership strengthened beyond operational success. If you made it this far, you understand what maritime security requires. You've witnessed complex boarding. You've seen civilian protection. You've learned why weapons smuggling fails. This is Navy Wire, where we break down maritime operations, where boarding tactics get serious analysis, where humanitarian operations are explained, where civilian protection is celebrated. Subscribe now. Join our community of serious maritime analysts. Hit notification bell so you never miss boarding operations coverage. Support this channel by hitting like button immediately. Share this video with someone needing to understand maritime law enforcement. Comment your thoughts on civilian protection. Your engagement helps us grow. Your support enables detailed analysis. Your passion drives this channel forward. Build Navy Wire community with us. 3 final questions. Which team performed most critically? Which decision prevented casualties? What maritime operation should we analyze next? Drop answers below. Debate, discuss, engage. Your comments shape future content. Quiz answer: 4+ hours for thorough cargo inspection. Comprehensive boarding with container examination, hidden compartment discovery, weapons documentation, and civilian evacuation required extended professional operation, demonstrating that proper maritime security doesn't rush when lives and evidence preservation are at stake. The ocean exposes war crimes. Venezuelan passenger ferry, Margarita Princess. 340 civilians aboard. Families, children, used as human shields. Hidden below, Chinese missiles. HQ-9B surface-to-air. YJ-18 anti-ship. Strategic weapons. War crime. American intelligence detected. Destroyer positioned. LEDET boarded. Professional inspection. Suspicious containers. Locks cut. Weapons discovered. SEALs deployed. Bridge secured. Civilians protected. Systematic evacuation. 340 passengers rescued safely. Venezuelan crew arrested. War crimes documented. Missiles seized. This is maritime law enforcement. This is humanitarian priority. This is American values. October 7th proved absolutely. Civilian protection paramount. Weapons smuggling detected. War crimes exposed. Definitively. Professionally. Humanely. Subscribe to Navy Wire, where we analyze maritime operations demonstrating American boarding excellence. Where civilian protection receives priority emphasis. Where war crime exposure gets serious analysis. Where humanitarian operations are explained and celebrated. Where American values are recognized completely. This is Navy Wire. This is maritime security reality. This is your community. Welcome aboard.